Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So I wanted to combine this video with the Fear Season 7 Episode 11 trailer breakdown. I'll give some thoughts on it. There's not a lot to talk about, so I'll add that to the very end because again, there's not a lot to talk about in that. But what I mostly, and what this video is like mostly going to be about, is The Walking Dead Season 11 Part 3. And I really wanted to talk about some of, I guess, Daryl and Judith and just what's going to happen between both those characters in the final season in terms of, finding out why Michonne left. Because that's obviously a big question that we have, right, going into part 3 is like, is Daryl going to find out? There's a lot of characters that, I guess that's the thing, there's a lot of characters that I do want to find out, but if I had to pick one character to find out about, what's happening here, it's Daryl. And it's mostly because Daryl, I guess mostly that scene in season 4 where Rick was like, "You're my brother, Daryl," right? And so they've always had this close bond, like, together. And Daryl spent years, like literally years, looking for Rick, right? Because he didn't find a body. So I want him to find that out. And I want to give some thoughts on that and just how I think it could happen, when I think it's going to happen. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of get into it from there. So obviously, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. I also just posted my Fear Season 7 Episode 9 and 10 review. So definitely, if you haven't checked that out yet, that's on the channel. There's still a lot of Part 3 videos that I want to do and some stuff on the Part 2 finale. Actually, there's one more thing I want to do in the Part 2 finale, and that's regarding Oceanside. I really want to talk about Oceanside and Lance and what happened there at the very end, because it was really scary. So we'll probably get into that tomorrow. And then, yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff with that part 3 trailer that I do want to get into. And there's a lot of things that I've been hearing about evolving walkers. Like maybe we're going to be getting running zombies like in part 3 here. And I will say, Angela King was asked about that. And I don't think she really answered the question. I think she was asked about that before part 2 came out. I can't remember exactly, so don't quote me on that. So I think that would be cool. I think that could be actually really cool. So yeah, anyways, there's a lot of stuff to talk about throughout the week here. So make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. But let's actually jump into what I wanted to talk about here. So obviously, in the trailer, we do see Daryl finding Rick's gun, or he's holding Rick's gun. He likely got it from Judith, or he just kind of found it in the house, whatever it's going to be. He's holding Rick's gun. This is definitely a moment where he's sitting here. He's just kind of cleaning the gun, checking the gun out, and he's probably thinking about Rick. Like, honestly, he's probably looking at the gun and he's thinking about Rick. And this is something that I like. I like scenes like this. Because it's hard to imagine what he's thinking about, but like he's probably just thinking of like Rick's face, right? Like when he's holding the gun, he's just thinking of like Rick's face, having conversations with him, and just what life was like when he was alive, right? Because again, he thinks he's dead at this point, right? Unless maybe when he's holding the gun, he finds out he's alive, right? Maybe Judith tells him already at this point. Like we don't know, but that's why I think we're going to get that reveal here because of this shot right here. It teases it. And even when you go back to season 11, I mean, I guess when the first episode aired, right, we saw the helicopter in the opening credits. Right there, I was like, okay, so if we're seeing the helicopter in the opening credits, that has to tease something CRM related or Rick related, right? Because it was gone from season 10 for a long time. So I think the reintroduction to that teases something here for the final season. We get this teaser. We're seeing this here. I think it's pretty obvious, right? So, in my opinion, is Daryl going to find out about Rick in part 3? He will. As far as is Rick actually going to be in the episode or in the final season here, I don't know about that. I'm still leaning towards no. I know Andrew Lincoln was spotted in Atlanta, and I do believe he could have filmed something very small, but it's probably going to be something like maybe voiceover work, like there's a recording of him. Or there's something where maybe they filmed something where he's like in a hospital bed or something waking up. And then that's sort of how The Walking Dead ends. It's not a coma thing. I'm not saying it's like he was in a coma. I know I mentioned that in a video. I was like, oh, what if that happened? And some people were like, wow, I can't believe some people still believe that the whole thing is just a dream, that he was in a coma the whole time. And I'm not. I'm literally not saying that. It's just that he was injured with the last time we saw him. So maybe we see him sort of in a hospital bed kind of waking up and just wondering what the hell is happening here, kind of thing, like what's going on, right? Like it could be something like that, a short little thing that's really nothing, right? Maybe it's just him literally opening his eyes and then it cuts to black. Like, I don't know what they're planning to do. It's possible he was there just to visit everyone because maybe he's just going to be really busy over the next however long, right? So he wasn't able to be there for the last episode and whatnot. But we're going to have to wait and see on all of that. But what I will say is I do think Rick Grimes' presence is going to be felt in those last couple of episodes. And the way I see it is The Walking Dead and like, you know, the writers and all that AMC, like they know how the fans feel about like the final episode. They want something Rick related so bad. They really do. So we're going to get that, right? Like they're going to give us something like that, because if they don't, they know that people are going to be so upset about it. And, you know, in order for all the spinoffs to work, the fans need to be satisfied with the ending here. And while I don't think we're actually going to see Rick, I think a very satisfying ending is basically going to be, you know, Daryl having this like emotional breakdown to like, I can't believe he's out there. I have to go out there and find Rick. So that's why I do think Judith is going to tell Daryl. I actually think that's probably going to happen. Or maybe he finds out some other way. I don't know, but I still think that conversation's going to happen where Judith, you know, tells Daryl, yeah, my mom went to go look for him. And Daryl's just going to be like, why didn't you tell me? And then there's just sort of all of that. I think that's the hard part with all of it as well, is just like, how do you handle all of that? Because that alone can't be a satisfying ending. It's just like, oh, he's alive. Cool. You know, you got to add a little bit more there. And I think the more that they're going to add is, you know, just the excitement of them going out to go and find him. There might be some actual proof of his location and where he is. You know, like we might see some stuff, right? It might not be like equivalent. Oh no, actually, the thing is, it could be equivalent to finding like his boots and stuff like that. Like Michonne found all of that, right? So it could be equivalent to that, just finding proof that he was in a certain location, basically. And, you know, then you got to end the current story of what's happening with the Commonwealth, and then end the story for a lot of those other characters that aren't going to be getting spinoffs, right? And because we're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of those characters for quite a while. So that's honestly, I think that's where they're going here. I really do. I'm very confident. I do think Daryl and them are going to find out. There's just no way they're not going to find out here, right? Like, I think that's why the spinoffs and stuff are so exciting. I think that's why everybody's so excited to actually film the spinoffs, is because we're actually starting to get into some really exciting stuff here with searching for Rick, right? And I know there's a lot of people talking about some of the Daryl and Carol stuff, but the thing is, to me, when I look at the Daryl and Carol spinoff and then Isle of the Dead is just way farther along in development, like way farther along in development. Whereas I think Daryl and Carol, you know, that show, when it was originally announced, that they obviously really had no time to work on it, especially if Angela Kang's a showrunner. She's not going to be able to write a lot of stuff out. They probably knew where they were going. They knew the general premise, you know, they probably knew, yeah, it's going to be them looking for Rick, basically. But, you know, how we get there, we got to work on the final season first and sort of carve all of that out, finish all of that, then start writing that show, right? So that's exactly what they're doing here. They're actually starting to get on all of this. And, you know, I can totally see. I think that's why Isle of the Dead was, first of all, just easier to get out first, because you have a different showrunner, right? It's not Angela Kang. So the people behind Isle of the Dead can actually work on it right now and have been working on it for quite a bit. So to me, all of that makes so much sense. And then the Daryl and Carol spinoff is just going to come out later. No, that's the thing. Like, they're writing it right now. You got to remember, it's only April right now. They're probably not going to be filming the Daryl and Carol spinoff till next spring, right? So just remember that. They're probably not going to be filming the Daryl and Carol spinoff until next spring, right? And then this way you can edit it or whatever, and then have it out in fall of 2023. So I really can't wait for Daryl to find out. And the only thing that I can really think of is he's going to find out from Judith. That's really, you know, there might be other things with the CRM, this and that. And maybe that happens that way. It's kind of my prediction right now that it's probably going to be Judith that tells Daryl. I think she might just open up about it. And it might be something that happens within the Commonwealth or something that sparks her to be like, okay, I have to kind of tell the truth now. I have to confess, right? Maybe it's something with her mom. Maybe she misses her mom, or she's having bad dreams or this and that. It might be something like that where she's forced to open up about it. And I see that being how Daryl finds out. And as for a prediction as to when he's going to find out, I'm going to say in the last 4 episodes for sure. I know I'm kind of copping out with that because, like, obviously he's probably going to find out in the last 4 of the 8. But I don't know. I can't see it in the first 4. Maybe. I don't know. Definitely post your thoughts down below on all of that. But I also want to talk about Fear Season 7, Episode 11 a little bit here. And again, just a little bit, because Fear right now is in a weird state where it's just, there's not a lot going on. I do think that's going to change, though, as soon as we get into episode 12, 13, 14, and stuff like that. I do think a lot of that is going to change. It's just right now we're just kind of in a state where they're reintroducing things, just based off of where they were at. And yeah, as soon as Madison comes back into the story, you know, if she's the one that kills Strand and there's this whole showdown, Alicia's reaction to her return, things are going to get really crazy. And I think season 8 is going to be really good, but it's just sort of, you know, episodes 9, 10, and 11. 11 looks like it'll be better than 9 and 10, but we're just at a point right now where there's not a lot to talk about with Fear the Walking Dead because they're not really giving us a lot to talk about, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I do think we're going to start to get there slowly, but in terms of doing sole videos on Fear the Walking Dead, it's kind of hard, honestly, to break down this trailer. I thought about doing a full trailer breakdown here, but it was kind of hard because I was like, I don't really know what's happening here. And that's the thing. Looking at the trailer, it doesn't look like anything is really happening other than they're basically gearing up to battle. And a lot of it is they want to recruit people, right, to fight Strand. And so we'll see if they're actually going to be successful in doing so. There seems to be 2 separate storylines. There's the submarine stuff. So, you know, you get stuff with like Sherry and Morgan and whatnot. Dwight's going to be in this episode. We actually do see Daniel and whatnot. And so it's going to be great to actually have the full cast back together. I do think Morgan's still a big highlight of this show, honestly. And I actually even mentioned that in one of the videos I did recently, is that it was just so nice to see Morgan back again. It's honestly like, I wish he was on The Walking Dead. Like, I really do, but it is what it is. I guess he's just kind of permanently on this show now. As for any predictions for this episode, I actually do think there could be a big death. And I know there's been a lot of questions about that, right? Like, is there going to be a big death on Fear the Walking Dead soon? I actually think there could be a bigger death in this one. And when I say big death, I don't mean like Daniel's going to die or whatever. Just the recognizable face, I think, could die because it's already been teased that there's going to be some big deaths in part 2 here. I keep saying part 2 because of The Walking Dead season 11, but in season 7B, there's already been a tease here that there's going to be a big death or 2 or whatever. So we'll have to see, but I think it could happen in episode 11, right? So anyways, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, anyways, post your predictions and your thoughts on episode 11 down below. Also, post your thoughts on, you know, Judith telling Daryl and whatnot and how you think that's all going to go down. Or do you have another theory or idea? Like, how do you think Daryl's going to find out? Is it going to be something else completely unrelated to what I was saying? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.